What's going on, everybody? Sarchung Dax here, bringing you in today. In today's video, we're going to be doing a comparison video between the Pro 44 and the Wilson A2000. I'm a little bit biased on this since this is a custom and this isn't, but you know, I'm trying to keep it fair. I'm not going to push you towards one glove or the other until the end of the video, and I'm going to tell you which one I personally prefer. But let's get into this. So overall, the leather quality on both gloves is similar but also different. The overall feel is different, but the quality, I believe, is probably on par as is with all the rest of the gloves in the world. With Rawlings, Louisville, Easton, Marucci, I feel like all the gloves are pretty much built to a certain standard of how long they should last. As you can see, like this A2000 I have, the Correa, I do not know how old this glove is. Honest to God, I bought it in this state, and you know, it's fairly well broken in, and it's obviously been used a lot. So I feel like when it comes down to the long road, this glove is going to be, you know, in okay condition to still be able to use. I don't know how the 44 would be later down the road. I haven't seen a 44, you know, used extensively. So I don't know personally. From what I've seen, maybe you know, y'all have seen it or you own one if you had it for a very long time. Comment down below how the leather quality has held up over the time you've had it. Like long time means like maybe over a couple years. But I feel like they would be both okay. For me, the overall feel, this definitely feels like a Rawlings heart of the hide type of leather. It doesn't feel like cheap leather. You can tell when you have cheap leather. Like this is a cheaper leather than these are. The GG Elite is cheaper leather made than the expensive gloves are. You can always tell the difference, especially when you've had gloves for a long time. You can tell the difference in the quality of the leather. For me, this one definitely feels like a Rawlings. It doesn't feel the same as a Wilson. The overall like texture of the leather, it just feels a lot different. Yeah, but this one does feel like a heart of the hide, and obviously this one feels like an A2000, obviously. But I feel like the overall comfort level with both gloves, there are two different gloves. This is the infield and this is the outfield, so the comfort level is going to vary. I like this one comfort level wise because it just fits snug to the hand. I don't know if it's the way the size of the wrist, but it just fits perfect, especially with the hand inside in here. It just feels soft to me. It feels very comfortable. It doesn't feel all weird. Versus this one where it's a little, I don't really feel secure in this, especially running two in the pinky, so your hand's a little bit out more. I don't feel as secure in this glove as I do in this glove, and I honestly think it comes down to how the wrist was built. So when it comes to that factor, I do like this one a little bit more, and the same thing goes for this one. You know, I just like the overall feel. Hugs my wrist a little bit. This one is a little broken. You know, this is obviously broken in, so it doesn't have. It's not as stiff as this one is in the wrist. So definitely, this is a like this one here. This one is, you know, it's very loose since it is broken in, but it still holds your wrist very well. So I feel like when it comes down to that, like overall comfort, I feel like the A2000 has it. I'm not saying this is uncomfortable to the fact where you can't use it. Just this one feels a little more comfortable than this one does. Now when it comes down to laces are pretty much the same. Honestly, I feel like the laces are all the same in each glove. The laces and the webs are going to take a little more of a beating than the ones on the pinky and thumb, so that's why I think they make these a little bit cheaper. But overall, the laces, in my opinion, are pretty much the same. Honestly, I can't really tell a difference in the quality of the lace. It's all just leather. You know, it's not cheap lace. It's well made. This one's a little stiffer right now because that one's, I have had a shorter time than this one. This one's still all floppy. This one's kind of getting there. But yeah, I think the lace are pretty much the same. Now the embroidery, which is this here, I think the 44 kind of wins because with both customs, this is not a custom, but I feel like you get a lot more options and customizations on 44 embroidery than you do on A2000s. You pretty much have to stick with this generic logos, versus here at 44, if you ever had it or looked online for one, they have different options for the wrist, a lot of different options of what you can put on your glove overall. You can even put like the outlines of the state of which you live in, or whatever state you want to put on the glove, anywhere on the glove. Honestly, I've seen people put it here on the finger. I've seen people put it on the thumb and pinky. So I feel like they have the better option, and the quality, like for here, if you can tell, it's a little raised. It's because they put a fabric and then they stitch over the fabric. That's why it's a little higher, and you can feel it. You can definitely feel it, and you can see it when the laces move over, like right there in the corner. You can really see in the corners whenever the stitching, the stitches move over. You can definitely see the fabric that's underneath it. When it comes down over here, now the only thing I don't like for on this side is the way they do the names. You can tell that they cut out. Let me put it down right here. You can tell they cut out first, and then they stitch the name or whatever you put on the side. Then they stitch into the hole or over it, because you can see these little outlines. Let me use this broken ass nail to point at these little outlines of the letters. And I think what they do is they cut it and then they stitch on top of it or inside of it. And stitching here on the flag and the plate, this is amazing. I like the way they do this. That's why I really wanted a flag here. And the stitching, around it just makes it pop a little bit more. I just think they win on embroidery because this is fairly generic, and I believe it's fairly generic on all the gloves they have. The way they do it, it's layered. So they start off with a blue layer, and then on top of the blue layers, when they stitch the white layer or the Wilson name, and then they stitch a border on top of this blue layer, so this is a little thicker than the blue right here on the bottom. Same thing here. They start with the blue layer, then I'm pretty sure they stitch the border, and then they stitch the W over on top of both, so it's a little higher. And when it comes down to over here, this is, I think, it's stitched on top of the leather, but I think they do it a couple of times to make it a little thicker and a little higher, so it's not, I don't know, it feels a little, so it doesn't feel perfectly in the glove, and also so it can hold up a little longer is what I think. Alright, so now let's move on to the stitching. The stitching on both, I think it's fair. This comes down to more craftsmanship, so let's just get into the craftsmanship category. When you look at it, compared to the fingers, my only thing was like this wasn't perfectly, you can see that that's a little, it's not perfectly on, versus like right here where it's, you can see it's pretty much sewn or stitched together right. Here, it is not in that finger specifically. I'm pretty sure, and no, it might just be that finger. I don't want to call people out on craftsmanship because you spend your time doing this and making a glove, and it's a lot of work. I've seen the videos on it, so I don't want to shit on the way people make gloves, but I feel like Wilson may take the cake. Wilson will definitely take the cake on the overall craftsman of the glove. I don't know, I feel like it's very slow. Gloves are made the same, so it's kind of hard to say, oh yeah, this glove was made better than this glove, or this glove was made better than this glove. It's kind of hard, they're made the same way. It just comes down how it was put together by the person who put your glove all together. I feel like this was definitely, I feel like that's a little bit more aligned than this is. I don't know, it's just, to rate craftsmanship is a little hard because the gloves are made pretty much the same. It's just the quality of which they're made in is different. So I feel like the overall craftsmanship on both gloves is amazing. My only issue is with that one finger, but overall, craftsmanship is beautiful in the gloves. The gloves are very well made. I have no issues with either of them. Nothing has popped. Nothing has came off. Nothing has broke. So I think the overall craftsmanship of the glove are amazing. Now, the final thing we're getting into here is the inside. Now, you can see it's very different. Here, they have a stamping on the inside, but the leather is always a little bit different on the inside. I think that might be the same here, honestly, but some people put another layer over the leather, or it's a different type on the inside. From what I know, from what I've seen, I could be wrong. Correct me in the comments if you want. But the overall feel on the inside, like I said, this one is, I don't know why, but this one's just way more comfortable. Just way more comfortable on the inside. Just where your palm rests on the inside, it just feels a lot better. Now, another thing we're going to go over is here. On the 44, you have the option to do the fur, or the thing, I don't know what is this called, that Wilson uses. This, like, it's like dry fit type of thing, kind of stops the sweating, I think. I don't know. You have the option on 44 to do, you can pick which one you want. I like fur, since I had this Rawlings and I like the way the fur felt. It's just over time the fur is going to look like this, and it's not going to look, it's going to look gross, okay? It's going to look gross over time, so just keep a heads up if you're planning on doing fur. It's going to look nasty, especially if you have white fur. This is more functional. Whatever this is definitely more functional. I don't know what this is called. I will have to look it up, put it over the screen or something. This is a lot more functional than the fur is. This has a purpose. They both have a purpose, but I think this does the purpose better. It keeps you from sweating a lot, versus where this pretty much just collects all the sweat. So I probably give this, is definitely going to go to Wilson on that. So now we're at the end of the video. And the glove I choose, personally, which I think is the overall better glove. The quality of the leather, I believe, is the same. It's just this is a little cheaper. But the glove that I choose that is better than the other has to be the A2000. Now, this is not shitting on this. I'm not saying this is shit. I'm saying this is a close second. A very close second. Like, there's Wilson, 44. It's there. It's not terrible. It's not a terrible made glove. I'm not telling you don't go buy this glove. Go buy this. I'm telling you want the cheaper option and beginning custom versus $350. Go spend $160 to $200 on this versus dropping $350 to $400 on this. The overall quality of this glove is amazing. This is not a terrible glove. This glove is very well made. I just like this one a little bit more mainly because of that. And then the thing that throws me off on here is the way that this is stitched on here, the name. I don't like that, and I've seen custom A2000s and the stitching on here looks a lot cleaner. This does not look clean to me. That's the only thing that throws me off. The overall gloves themselves are very equal. The leather is very equal. I just like this is, since they have been doing this for a long time, these guys just started off, they know what they're doing, they're learning. That's the way I look at it. So I would go with the older, more experienced people over the newer, they're not, relatively new. They've been in the game for a while, but, Wilson's been around a very long time versus 44. But, for them just starting off, the overall quality and the way the glove's made is amazing. And I see in the future they get a lot better at it. But I choose the A2000 over the 44 just for the simple fact and how it's put together. And I've seen the stitching for the names on the side. It looks a lot cleaner than that looks. That is my only complaint about that. Also, I like this more. This is more functional. I did have the option to put that. I didn't want to, mainly because it was going to cost a little bit extra. I didn't believe it was like $5, $10 maybe. Could be wrong. But I just like this more. I just like this more. This is okay. I like fur. Don't get me wrong. I love fur. This just has more function to it. And this glove feels comfortable in this glove. That's why I like this one more. It just feels overall comfortable in your hand. I'm not saying this feels like, like shit. Like, oh, I can't hold this. No. It's just this has more comfort. You grasp it and wrist a little bit better. So, yeah. What do you guys prefer? Leave it in the comments below. Leave a like on this video if you want to see. I'm probably going to do some more comparison videos. I have like 3 other gloves. Comment which one you want to see in the video next. Yeah, leave a like, subscribe for more. This is our turn, guys. Later.